Number 10, Puppy Thrower. A Karen in California was busted hurling racial insults at a man and then throwing a puppy at him. As if racially abusing someone isn't bad enough, the young Karen went and abused an animal as well, using a puppy as a weapon. There's a special place in hell for someone that does something like that. The video was recorded in 2020, showing an enraged woman losing her mind on a guy named Glomula, who was a local California rapper. It's not really clear what started the bizarre interaction. When he started recording, the woman was walking through the middle of the street towards him. He had simply been trying to get back into his car. She screamed at him, quote, "You're black," for no reason. And that was when everything started to spiral out of control. The two got into an argument. The rapper was worried that she was holding the puppy in a really unsafe way, and then she kicked at him and tossed the dog in his face. It was truly ridiculous. The Karen didn't really appear to have any idea what was going on. Then, just as quickly as she attacked an innocent random stranger, totally unprovoked, she took off down the street. Her face is all over the internet, and she is now one of the most hated women in the world. But Glomula got himself a cute new puppy. Number 9, Hot Soup. On November 7th, 2021, a Karen caused a major scene inside the Sol de Jalisco restaurant in Temple, Texas, when she threw hot soup directly in the manager's face. Amanda Martinez was extremely angry that her plastic lid had melted. She was so furious that she took it out on an innocent person. She literally tried to scald the poor guy's face off. The disturbing moment was caught on surveillance footage. Amanda demanded to speak with the manager, a typical Karen thing to do. Then, when the 24-year-old manager, Janelle Brolin, tried to de-escalate the situation, Amanda kept escalating it. After a whole lot of unnecessary screaming, Amanda threw the steaming hot soup directly in the manager's face. Keep in mind the soup was hot enough to melt the plastic lid of the container. The manager compared the soup hitting her in the face to taking a full stream of pepper spray directly in the eyes. Her eyes felt like they were on fire and she got an instant nosebleed. By the time police arrived, Amanda was long gone, but a few days later, an arrest warrant was issued and she was booked into the Bell County Jail. If she's found guilty on the charge of assault, this psychotic Karen will be looking at around 1 year in jail and a $4,000 fine. Number 8, Brain Tumor Patient. On June 25, 2020, in Jacksonville, Florida, a woman was caught on camera at Pier 1 store spitting and coughing on a brain tumor patient. Seriously? This Karen nonsense is too much. Deborah Hunter's life changed forever when she was put on blast to the entire world. Heather Sprague, the victim, managed to catch every last second of the outburst on her phone. Heather began recording when Deborah got into an argument with one of the employees at the store over trying to return an item. When Deborah saw that she was being filmed, she walked right up and coughed in Heather's face. What she didn't realize was that the woman she had just coughed on was being treated for a brain tumor in the middle of a pandemic. If Deborah had given Heather COVID deliberately, it could have caused a major complication with her recovery. Thankfully, there's video evidence of the whole thing and Deborah was punished. She was ordered to pay a fine of $500, serve 6 months on probation, and get a mental health evaluation and attend anger management. Can't wait to see what karma has in store for that Karen. Number 7, Bagel Shop Meltdown. In January of 2021, a woman in Florida had a meltdown at a bagel shop. At the time, the woman was actually a candidate for mayor in Boynton Beach. Cindy Falco DiCorrado didn't act like someone that wanted to be in the public eye serving her community, though, when she walked into the fast food restaurant without wearing a mask and then caused a dramatic scene. Workers at the Einstein Brothers bagel shop asked her to put a mask on or leave. That's just the rules. She responded by screaming like a maniac, crying that her rights were being violated and complaining that masks were unconstitutional. She refused to leave the shop and was filmed having one of the biggest meltdowns an adult could have in front of complete strangers. Then, when the cops showed up, she took it up a notch. An officer moved in to arrest her, but she continued screaming and told the officer to get their hands off of her. She said that she had the right to protect herself. Okay, Karen. Then, as she was being carried away in handcuffs, she screamed that the officer was kidnapping her. She ended up being found guilty of trespassing and resisting arrest. Each offense is punishable by up to 1 year in jail. Safe to say Cindy won't be elected mayor. Number 6, the Soho Karen. The Soho Karen first came onto the scene in December of 2020 when she tackled a 14-year-old girl to the floor in the lobby of the Arlo Hotel in New York City. This Karen accused the young girl, Kian Harold Jr., of stealing her phone when she didn't. Footage of Mia Ponsetto taking down the teen, who just happened to be black, was caught on camera by the girl's father, and when he posted it online, it went viral. Moments after the fiasco took place, after the 22-year-old woman basically assaulted an innocent child, an Uber driver showed up with her phone. She had forgotten it in his vehicle. Mia quickly turned into one of the most hated people in New York City. She's now facing jail time and charges of committing a hate crime. But here's the cherry on top. Mia had gotten in trouble months before the Soho incident when she and her mom caused a disturbance at a different hotel in California. The staff asked them to leave, but Mia and her mother refused. Someone called the Beverly Hills police, and when the cops came, they found Mia and her mother drunk in public. Mia's mother attacked the cops, throwing her fists and kicking at them, and both were charged with public intoxication. She was also caught the day before for driving under the influence and was given 3 years probation. Number 5. Jennifer Couture. An insane Florida woman named Jennifer Couture went viral in early 2020 when she tried to run somebody over with her car outside a Dunkin' Donuts. The video was shared on TikTok first, with Jennifer, a blonde white woman with way too much work done on her face, clearly seen exiting her Mercedes and then attacking a person filming. Jennifer can be heard telling the other person to relax and to chill out with her attitude. Then she tried to snatch the phone from the other woman's hand. The unidentified victim screamed out, quote, "Ah, you just assaulted me!" Then, Jennifer mocks the woman and returns to her Mercedes. But this wasn't the end of it. Jennifer then threw her car in reverse and tried to back over the woman who was recording her. When the first attempt didn't work, she tried again. She actually failed to run over the woman, thankfully, but still. Couture has since been charged with 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. As for why Couture went full Karen, no one really knows. Maybe the woman took the last donut. Number 4. Shame, shame, shame. In 2021, on September 11th of all days, an angry woman cursed out and assaulted a Navy sailor at a Connecticut pizzeria because she believed he was wearing a fake uniform. The footage was posted on TikTok, and it clearly shows a middle-aged Karen slapping the face of Navy man Sean Nolte Jr. as he was simply trying to get some food at Central Pizza in Berlin. Karen is screaming at the man, quote, "This is disgusting," as she picks up Nolte's hat from a counter and throws it at him. "Disgusting, you effing piece of S," end quote. The person recorded the confrontation tells the woman to leave before the police are called. This prompted Karen to demand that Nolte, quote, "show his uniform," while calling him a disgrace to the country. In the video, you can hear the Karen saying, "That's not a uniform, you effing S," before walking out of the restaurant. Nolte detailed the caught-on-camera assault in a post on Facebook, saying the woman had been constantly staring at him as she walked in. Quote, "As she leaves, she looks at me and says, 'Nice smile,' very sarcastically," Nolte said. I reply, "Thank you, have a nice day, ma'am," and continue about my day. Not even 30 seconds later, she comes marching back in and yells at the pizzeria staff. Quote, "He is fake, by the way. My husband is in the Army." Nolte is currently training at the Naval Submarine School in Groton and is also a volunteer firefighter. Ultimate shame to this Karen. Number 3. Boss-level Karen. In April of 2021, a boss-level Karen was arrested by officers at a Nordstrom rack in Texas. The woman refused to wear a mask when she entered the store, then got physical with the employees inside. Her name is Cara Bell, and she claimed to the employees that she had a medical exemption and didn't need to wear a mask. When they said it didn't matter and she needed to wear a mask or leave, she started pushing the workers. The police showed up as she was standing outside ranting like a lunatic. Cara Bell refused to identify herself to the officers and was screaming about being a child of God and basically said she could do whatever she wanted under God's authority. She also claimed that she was the one who was being insulted by the employees and that she had been discriminated against for being white. Right. Although this Karen shouldn't be allowed in public and clearly needs to be on medication, she didn't really get into trouble. But now, the world knows who she really is. People online were quick to comment on her video, labeling Bell a Karen on steroids, a Christian Karen, and a COVIDiot for her actions. Number 2. WHOPPER. Judith Ann Black is in her 70s and retired, and you'd think with this much experience in life she'd know better, but apparently not. In early 2021, Judith was caught on video hurling a Whopper at an employee at a Burger King and saying some pretty rude things to her. She called the worker, who happened to be black, something you are never allowed to say. But what started this racially charged burst of anger? According to a report from police, Judith was mad that the tomato on her burger was too thick. Oh, God forbid. When the employees asked her if she would please calm down, Judith went on a racist rant and threw the burger in her face. Judith knew she had done something wrong and immediately left, but not before another employee wrote down her license plate and called the police. The cops then tracked Judith down to her retirement home and arrested her for battery. Number 1. Karen versus Mythical Manager. Airport Karen struck on May 27, 2021, and her name was Terry Ann Blues. Terry had been denied access to her flight and was demanding to speak with the manager of the entire Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. This kind of manager doesn't even exist, and Terry was caught on camera screaming like a crazy lady for them. According to American Airlines, she was shouting at workers behind the counter. Then, when she was told to sit down and patiently wait for assistance, she made a run to the bridge door, attempting to push her way onto the plane. The police had to come and escort Terry out of the airport. When they got there, the Karen was sweating, breathing heavily, and her eyes were totally red and bloodshot. Turns out, she was super drunk, but that's still not an excuse. And when police searched her, they found containers with random pills and a small black pouch with a glass pipe. She never made it to her destination because she was placed under arrest for public intoxication and paraphernalia. Thanks for watching. Would you rather have to deal with a Karen living next door to you or have your mother-in-law turn out to be a Karen? Tell us which is worse in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time on the Bad Badger.